Okay, Dan, I want to give you a quick rundown of what we got here. The build turned out really well. It's probably one of the better ones I've built to this version in a while. If you'll notice on it right now, I sent you a video of one of the test flights and it had the trainer gear on it. And I'm recommending that you use the trainer gear to get used to landing it and used to how it handles. The trainer gear will absorb a lot more impact than these carbon gear will. But these gear here are ideal for using with the gimbal that you're getting. So if you noticed, the gimbal is way out front. Not going to worry about getting shots of the landing gear or the props in, except for when you go to the extreme left or right. But once you point the camera down, 10 or so degrees, you're not going to worry about the props or the gear. But you'll be able to get some pretty nice straight down shots. I've got it fixed in the software so you can look down 90 degrees, and I'll show you here in just a minute how that works. But you'll notice the placement here. There's a telemetry module, so we can get good reception. This is the wiring, the main power cord. It goes to your battery here. Right. And this is a gimbal mount. And the gimbal is fully adjustable. You can push it forward, as well as these pylons here that everything mounts to. You can shove these forward if you want to as well. You can adjust this battery tray. It'll shift back and forward, so you can get it balanced out real nice. Landing gear as well. If you want to change the landing gear out, you just pull these little caps off, pull the battery tray off, pull the gimbal off, and these tubes will pull right out, and you can pull this landing gear off. Reinsert the tubes, put your battery tray back on, your gimbal mount back on, and you can snap on the training gear. All right. Pretty clean build though. So I'm just going to power everything up real quick. Show you how to power it up and get it ready. The transmitter, turn it on. The model you need to be on is Arducopter. Okay. The throttle cut switch, this switch here, this is return to launch. If you flip that, it's going to come back to where you initialized the aircraft at. These are your mode switches. This 3-position switch here, you go to start off in stabilize mode all the time. Okay. Stabilize, altitude hold, loader or GPS position and altitude hold. Put that down. That's going to be land. All switches down are land. I've got it set to descend at 30 centimeters per second. Okay, so that's pretty slow. So if you're kind of rough on your landing starting off, just remember all switches down, and you'll bring it down right above where it's at. Okay. Flip it up one more time. You're in circle mode. Flip it up one more time. You're in auto. Flip that back up, you're back in stabilize mode. Okay? You got to charge the battery here. I've got the low voltage alarm on the transmitter set to 9 volts. We're at 8.9 right now. That's 3 volts per cell. You can drop it down to 2.8 to be on the safe side, but when it hits 9 volts, get ready to turn it off and put it on the charger. But this knob here, that's to control the pitch on the camera. That's to control the yaw on the camera, or the pan. Okay? I'm going to swap this battery out real quick with a fresh one. If you notice, I just turned the transmitter on. If the switches are not in their default position, you're going to get an alert. That's just to let you know before you turn anything else on that you do have switches that aren't in the default position. So flip those up, and it goes to your start screen. So all positions, switches are at default. Now we're going to power this up. Try to make sure that the pan and the tilt for the gimbal is centered. All right. You'll notice 4 beeps, then a pause, or 4 pulses and a pause, that means that it's in a good state, you're ready to go. All right, let me show you the gimbal here real quick. I got it set to follow me mode, so you're going to get a nice smooth transition with the gimbal. If you notice, that's the pan. Okay, so the tilt isn't working on right yet. It's because I got that plugged in backwards. Anyway, the tilt works well also. So that's nice and smooth. You can look around. Let's get it centered up there. See, the gimbal does a really good job at stabilizing. You should get some good video and good images out of this with your GoPro. Put that down. Now to arm this thing, to get it ready to fly, all you're going to have to do, and then get it scoot back here a little bit. Not really going to spin these props up that fast. You'll start off to show you. You want to hold down on this switch here. This is the arming switch. Hold down. It's going to go solid. Notice the LEDs on the ESCs. Alright. Now we're going to hold the throttle stick and the yaw stick down to the bottom right corner for 5 seconds. Be very careful with the throttle. If you can barely nudge up on it when it arms, that's what's going to happen. Alright, when you get done flying, you want to land it to the bottom left-hand corner for 5 seconds. You're going to hear a beep. That means it's disarmed. Alright, before you do anything with the aircraft, if you got to adjust something or mess with anything, the first thing you do when you approach it is hold down on the arming switch until it starts flashing 4 and a pause. Okay? You hear those beeps? And we're good to go. Alright. I guess I'm going to show you real quick. This is a telemetry module here. We've got the ground control station software up and running. This is a USB host cable. This is going to allow you to plug it into your some smartphones and tablets to run this off of, the ground control station software. If you're just using it on the standard PC, what you're going to do is plug it into the side here. Put it right here. My computer hasn't been working well here lately. There we go. See, I plugged it in on the back side here, and it's automatically installing the device driver software. Now it says it's ready to use. I'll go up here and select the COM port. It should be the only numbered COM port that it gives you. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to change the baud rate to 57,600. And I'm going to connect it. You notice once it's establishes connection, it's going to say got perimeter, and it's going to update these parameters here. Flight control parameters. Take it just a minute. This is probably about one of the longest steps there is, using wireless telemetry just to connect. But, these are 6 amp batteries, so you can actually, with the testing and stuff, I've been using only one of these, but this has enough power and enough ability. You could carry an 8 amp, 10 amp, or even 12 amps. Run 2 of these batteries in parallel with each other. Now we're connected. All right, if you look at the bottom left-hand corner there, you'll see SAT count. All right, 6 soundbites and more is good. All right. This GPS HDLP. You need to try to get this to show up on your ground control station. To do that, you just double click, put your cursor over that, double click, and you'll see it up here at the top of the list. GPS HDOP. You want to select that, all right, and it's going to show that right here on your quick look or your telemetry functions there. You can change any one of these to anything you want. Just double click on one. There's a whole list of data that you can have fed to and read, which is pretty useful and pretty neat. I'm indoors right now, and it's a very overcast day, so I'm not getting that great of a signal. I'm getting 8 sats, and this is a pretty good signal to be indoors. It's, basically means that we're getting within 3 meters of where the GPS actually is. What they recommend, what I recommend to you is you want to try to get a value of 2.00 or less. You get a value of 2.00 or less, that means you should be able to get really good positioning hold outdoors. All right, you can get that indoors and work as well indoors. You can see the copter here is pointed in the direction it's actually oriented in relation to the maps here. You notice here's your bearing, your altitude. This right here tells you what mode you're in. Your stars and size strength. I've got it connected, but I don't have it enabled here. But for the voltage monitoring, you can have the voltage monitored wirelessly. It'll tell you the voltage and current levels while you're in flight, and it'll update that on the ground control station in real time. You can also have it show up here if you want. Remember, just double click and you can pull that up. But what I'm sending with it is an external LiPo alarm, and I recommend you use this whenever you fly. It simply plugs into the balance lead connector of the battery. All right, you can't plug it in backwards. It's got reverse polarity protection, so you're not going to burn it out. So just plug it in until it beeps, and you get these LEDs. All right, this is really loud, so you got to hear this when it's pretty far away. But until you get used to it and get comfortable with flying it and operating it, use the external alarm. All right. All right, I think that's it. So go to power this thing down. Always disconnect the copter first. All right, and it'd be good to go ahead and disconnect the planner as well. Close that out. Then you can turn your transmitter off. All right. This thing folds up really nice for transport. That's all you got to do. These clamps hold really well. Of course, when you get this thing ready to store or transport, you do want to remove the landing gear. But it's a really nice build. I'm going with a white canopy right now. The black pieces of ABS that we were sent didn't form very well when we heated it up. We had quite a few ruined pieces, but the white for some reason did. But I'll have some more in this weekend, and if you don't like the white, I'll send you a black one. You can keep both. But I like the white. I think it looks pretty good. And two, during the summertime, the white will keep the heat from building up inside the canopy and altering the readings from the barometric pressure and temperature sensor. So might be a good idea just to use the white for right now, considering we're getting close to the middle of summer. If you have any questions, just feel free to contact me.